George Miller's Fury Road is a visual spectacular and a cinematic masterpiece, but it is not a girl power movie. Rather, it is a warning of the consequences that would come with the realization of such a movement, and a statement for the importance of honoring both sides of our humanity, the feminine side and the masculine side. Max's world has disregarded the feminine side and is paying the price for it. Right from the start, we are presented with a world out of balance, a world with too much war and not enough nourishment, or too much masculine and not enough feminine. As we meet our characters, we will find they, like the society they live in, are in deep need of balancing their own duality, a concept reinforced by this two-headed lizard. Max is an exception in this world, in that he is all feminine and has lost touch with his masculine side. I know it sounds weird to call Tom Hardy playing Mad Max feminine, but just look at what we are presented with. Max has long feminine hair and is very unkempt in general. He is also being haunted by the dead, specifically his daughter. He keeps hearing her ask,
"Where are you? Where are you?"
because Max was not there for her when she needed him. But there are no ghosts actually haunting Max. His daughter's voice is a creation of his own thought. He is consumed with the thought of letting others down, and thinking of others is what our feminine side does. Because Max will not let himself off the hook for not being there for his daughter and others, he is always thinking of others, and has lost touch with his masculine side, which thinks of the self. This is why Max is in such disarray when we first meet him. Being dominated by his feminine side, he is not able to take care of himself. We see here as the ward boys dispose of his feminine hair, which is not acceptable in their masculine world, that Max is a universal donor, meaning he is capable of helping anyone in need. Max is a very capable and confident person. However, until Max finds redemption for not being there for his daughter, he is going to remain a prisoner of his past and of Joe's. To find redemption, he needs to be there for someone in his present, and to do that he will need to be strong, which will require getting back in touch with his masculine side. Enter Furiosa. Furiosa is Max's love interest in an untraditional platonic love story that is beautiful to watch unfold. Furiosa is like Max in that she is very capable and confident. They are both independent people who don't necessarily feel the need for a mate, but they do need each other at the time fate brings them together. Furiosa is all about girl power. She is confident, makes decisions, does not rely on men, and not only does she work hand in hand with the men, she leads them. Furiosa is all masculine. Her demeanor, name, hairstyle, all masculine. She is missing her left arm, and left is the feminine side of the body. Furiosa has sacrificed her feminine side to succeed in her masculine world. She thinks she will find redemption for sacrificing her feminine side by escaping the boys' club and going home to the green place with many mothers. But this is a fantasy. She does not realize how absurd her magical place sounds because she has lost touch with the world around her, with the loss of her feminine side, which keeps us in touch with others and the world around us. We hear Miss Giddy tell Joe it wasn't Furiosa's idea to free the girls, but rather they had to beg her to take them. Furiosa doesn't worry about others because she is all masculine and only thinks of self-preservation. We see Furiosa completely ignoring everything around her, focused only on the road ahead. She does not see the Citadel is the best place for a community to thrive. It is protected, has water, and has green. Immortan Joe just needs to be replaced, and Furiosa is the one person in the Citadel that has a chance at replacing him. Her single mind does not see the obvious answer to her search for redemption and freedom. On her right side, her masculine side, is her gear shift that doubles as a hidden dagger. The dagger is for her own protection, just like her masculine behavior is for her own protection. But if Furiosa doesn't start using her feminine side, her masculine side is going to be the death of her. Our male lead has lost touch with his masculine side, and our female lead has sacrificed her feminine side. They are going to need each other to find their missing halves, and when they find them, they will be able to take on our antagonist, Immortan Joe. Immortan Joe is a fantastic leader for this masculine-dominated society. He is literally and figuratively a dick. He denies his people of water. He only knows how to rule with force and has no mercy. He thinks of women as property and despises them so much he refers to them as breeders and keeps them locked in a vagina-like safe with a giant sperm on the floor. His milking mothers are in a factory-like room. Joe is also fairly stupid in his one-mindedness. First, when we see Furiosa take her left or feminine turn from the main road, Joe is lost as to her motives and where she is heading. All he really manages to do is follow her in his confusion. He actually remains silent on the subject until the war rig party takes a masculine action in the end by heading back to the Citadel. Secondly, Joe's goal is to have a healthy, vital boy, but he does not see it as his blatant disrespect for the feminine side that denies him of this. One of his sons has a good body, but a handicapped mind. The other has a good mind, but a handicapped body. Each only one half of a healthy whole. On top of this, the entire family suffers breathing problems. Breath is our constant attachment to life, and it is in tune with our masculine and feminine sides. Inhaling is self-preservation and is a masculine action, where exhaling is your imprint on the world around you and is a feminine action. Joe's entire bloodline pays the price for his disrespect towards the feminine side of humanity. Opposite of Joe, we are given these 5 visions of natural beauty. They are not examples of girl power. They are feminine beings that respect masculinity and femininity within themselves. The splendid Angharad is the matriarchic leader who leads with feminine qualities, but who has a masculine strong side backing those qualities up. Her feminine side leaves her clueless when it comes to artillery, but she is strong enough to risk her own life for the greater good. Capable, the Dag and Toast and Knowing use dashes of their masculine side to accent their feminine nature, just as they do with their wardrobe or hairstyle, and each of them prove to be capable, helpful members of the group. Cheeto, the Fragile, is the most feminine in the group. She is so feminine that life only makes sense to her when she has a male partner, and she is in disbelief when a male puts the females in danger. We see even this feminine quality of wanting a man as a protector can lead to powerful action when it is paired with the strong masculine side. When Max and Furiosa meet, they know they are well matched, and Furiosa is without her prosthetic arm, which proves unfortunate for Max. She appears to lose any sense of control or mercy, and brutally attacks Max. Furiosa's first step toward using her feminine side. She leans into Max's window, doing her best to change his mind. And she does, because these two are kindred spirits. She knows Max, and she knows what he wants. And then, we see Max also knows Furiosa, as he removes all of her hidden weapons. He does, however, miss the dagger. Max offers to help, another step towards human connection, and another step towards his freedom. The girls urge Furiosa to use her feminine nature and exercise mercy. They tell her to put her masculine dagger away. What we see throughout the film's beautiful action sequences is our two leads needing to work together to succeed, reinforcing the power behind using both sides of our humanity together. Right at the midpoint of the movie, we are given this fantastic image. Max's arm protruding through Furiosa's leg, the two of them intertwined and working together. Max and Furiosa have 2 conversations in the truck. They are intimate, honest conversations. Max speaks softly with her, and when he does question the details of the green place, he does so with blind support. They continue to work together and swap gender roles as they do. This is a big moment for Max. He is willing to sacrifice himself for the greater good, just like Splendid did. Such a strong, selfless action could only be taken by someone who is using both sides of their humanity. When he gets back, he is rewarded with mother's milk, and the feminine girls are confused about his strong masculine action. But Furiosa explains it all, being well versed with the subject matter. This is a big moment for Furiosa. She has to admit that her Garden of Eden doesn't exist. All is lost, including any hope of getting back to her feminine nature. So she drops her arm and surrenders to what she has lost. Max has his freedom. Furiosa tells him he is welcome to come or go. Furiosa seems to be on hold with her journey momentarily. Being with the mothers has Furiosa wrapped in the feminine nature like a blanket. We find Max as we did in the beginning, but he looks much more kept, and his daughter's dialogue has changed. changed. But most significantly, instead of running from, Max is now chasing after both the living and the dead. If this were a romantic movie, this would be the wedding scene. Max is finally being masculine, and Furiosa his feminine partner. Accent on partner, because after Max takes charge and lays out a persuasive plan, he then turns to Furiosa and asks what she thinks. And we get my favorite line in the movie, showing the connection these two Alpha Prime beings have with one another, knowing that together they are virtually unstoppable. Furiosa uses her dagger. Her masculine side is still dominating. Max looks a bit overwhelmed, like he's questioning his idea and what he got Furiosa involved in. His feminine side is still dominating. They both face near-death experiences as a result. Max puts his feminine wounds behind him, and Furiosa finally rids herself of her right-sided dagger. Max takes control from here on out. At times, he has to think of himself in order to get to and help Furiosa, and he has no problem doing that. Furiosa finally embraces her feminine side and takes action as a feminine being. She is wounded and weak. She is not the strong physical presence that beat on Max earlier, but still she crawls into battle. She is now willing to sacrifice herself for the greater good, and she does sacrifice her arm. But in charge, masculine Max gets there in time to save her. If this were a romantic movie, this would be the honeymoon. There are several penetrations and they exchange bodily fluids. Max finally shares his name with her. It is a tender, intimate moment. He even struggles to look her in the eyes as he says it, but he manages to do so. And with this, Max is free, redeemed, and ready to embrace life again. In the end, Max is surrounded by people, and Furiosa stands in her leadership role that has been waiting for her. It's funny to see the happy ending love story to end with the two characters walking away from each other. But as we said, these two did not need each other in that way, just to help find their missing half.
Fury Road reminds us that both sides of humanity exist in each of us. And no matter how we choose to express or label our own personal gender, it is always best to allow these two sides to work together.